What's up? I'm Ayisha Jaffer. We're hanging out with Ben Steller on the current. I'm here with Sam and Nico. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So you guys have been on a long tour with Fontaines DC. I haven't heard you playing around with their song Big, which was really fun in our session. It's been a while, and you're near the end. Like, how has it been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. They're an amazing band, and they're very kind people. And yeah, they're nice big rooms, and all the venue staffs have been very kind to us and accommodating. So. And we're doing it on our own.
Yeah, just the five of us. No like TM or manager, which has been fun. It's like road trip style. But yeah, so it's a bit daunting, but I feel like, yeah, the Fontaines team has been really like, helping us out a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome that they're inclusive and kind, and it's been good. I like that it's looked at as a road trip because sometimes it can be a lot of work. That's cool that you guys are doing it on your own as well, because I used to be a tour manager, so I know how much of a feat that can be. That's really cool. Well, I've got a little bit of a 101 question, I know, for you, and I'm sure you've heard it, but I've heard DJs all across and editorial sort of say many different stories about the band origin name, like Ben Steller, like I have Ben Steller the emotion, or is it about Ben Stiller, or is it a celestial thing, or is it a combination of these things? So I just want to get the story straight of the origin story.
I won't lie. Okay, so it's the Sky and I, we came up with the name 12 years ago, about 11 or 12 years ago. And so we were quite young. So that's the first important detail. And then, yeah, we had started making music together. We needed a name. And there was an electronic musician, I assume still is, named Com Trues. And we thought that was funny, like the switch of the letters. And so then Sky just said, what about Ben Steller? Like, how have you been? I've been Steller. And so like it was immediately like a double meaning, but we liked it because I like that it's in the past tense. I feel like that's interesting. And I just, I like the idea of something that used to be good, like it was stellar. And it sounds kind of sarcastic. There's just a lot that you can kind of like ascribe to it, but I don't think our 14-year-old selves were ascribing a ton of meaning to it at the time. Yeah.
But I know there is like sort of, you have this history where you did meet Ben Stiller.
That's correct.
And this was back in 2019 when Captured Tracks found out that Ben Stiller was a teenage punk rocker in a band called Capital Punishment. And then at La Poisson Rouge in New York, they like brought them back together and you guys actually met.
Yeah, because a friend of ours, mom, went to high school with Ben Stiller.
Oh, wow.
And so she got us on the guest list to go to the show. And so Sky and I went up to him and we were, stoked to meet him. And we told him like, oh, we've been like saying almost your name all the time for like 5 years. And he was very, very cool. And his band was great. Yeah, no, really, really, and he gave us his blessing on the name. So
that's amazing. Maybe in the future he'll do a music video.
Maybe
We'll just put
Ben,
it out there.
If you're watching,
yeah.
we go back and forth on Twitter like a little bit here and there.
Oh, see,
Like, yeah. So we're trying to get him if he wants to come to a show or something.
that's awesome.
We'll see.
Oh, I love that. That's such a cool connection. Well, I know you might be new to our audiences, but like you and Skylar, as you alluded to, have been sort of playing together for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was a band T-shirt that brought you together. So I have to know, like, what's the fateful fashion band that...
It was, I think he was wearing a Vampire Weekend T-shirt, and I was wearing a Starfucker T-shirt. I don't know is that cool?
It's fine.
Cool.
We have bleeps.
Right on. Yeah, so then we both knew that we were music people, and we were on the cross-country team, and we gravitated to each other and started telling each other about a bunch of bands and started making tunes together. And I never thought at the time, like, I might have picked a different name if I had known that we'd still be doing this.
I think it's great. I personally love it. So
we've grown into it. I mean, like, I've grown to love it now. But
it's always hard to describe it to someone. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute to tell them what the band name is.
You have to like repeat a few times, and you're like, "How have I been? I've been Steller." And
you're
like,
just gonna get like a recorder and just
yeah, exactly. Just one of those YouTube videos where it's like Ben Steller.
Yeah, we can loop this too.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So, well then, okay, Michigan, where you're from, Midwesterners, we love them. We're Minnesotan, right?
Yeah.
Go to NYU, request the music floor. In enters Nico
Yeah.
and Nando, and together there's like serendipitous, like band collective. Like, was there like a eureka moment where you guys met each other and you were like, "This is gonna happen"?
Not really. It was like, yeah, we were on the music floor. I just applied to it to be on the best dorm, honestly. Like, and then Sam and I were roommates, and Nando and Sky were roommates down the hall. And yeah, the first show that Sam and Sky did were with Nando, and then a different bassist and a different drummer who were in the music program. And yeah, I went to that show. I wasn't planning to do music in college, and then I went to that show, and I was like, I then called my mom to like ship over my bass, just because I was like, honestly, I was like pretty like inspired. Not that I wanted to be in the band, but like, and then yeah, the next show that they had, Sam asked me to play in it, and I'd barely been playing bass at that point. So yeah, it was cool. And then we played like some shows at this like bar that's closed down now. And then they were just so fun and so packed. And we did like a Christmas show, and I think and then Layla was part of those two shows as well. And I think after that we kind of all looked at each other and were like, "That was awesome. We got to keep doing this."
That's awesome.
So,
well,
yeah.
so Layla entered the picture too. Like, was that a separate show or all together?
That was me and Layla joined at the same time. Like so they did their first show, like them three, and then plus the other drummer and bassist. And then by the time they did their second show, that's when Layla and I hopped in.
See, I love that. It's a very New York thing. You have all these different people from different places that kind of create these collective things. And I know you've been like this narrative of like New York band has like been put on you, but I know that you kind of defy that cliche, right? Like that's such a saturated market. It's a very labeled market. And so together, after creating this kind of joyous collective and band, you sort of stepped around that and created your own scene, right?
Yeah, I think like when we got to New York, we were a little bit bummed out because it felt like there wasn't what we hoped for as far as a scene, and a lot of DIY spaces were closing down, and there were like great bands doing stuff, but nothing that we felt like we quite fit into, and I think we also were still pretty uncertain of who we were as a band, and I guess as people too. And so what made the most sense to us, and I'm very happy we made this decision, is we just started putting on some of our own shows. And so we started renting out like a peer space or something and lying about what it was going to be used for. And having friends show art on the walls and project little shorts that they made or something, and sell it if they wanted to. It became like this cool thing for people to go do, and we'd make it really cheap or maybe even free, and people were like out on the street watching it and stuff, and it just was something that was like, because you get so tired of going to the same couple venues and paying $20 to see your friend's band and 4 other bands, and then the room is 20% full the entire time because people end up just going for the one band. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, obviously we don't want to be a part of that. And so, yeah, that was kind of how we decided to start doing our own thing.
That's really cool. And that's like a very New York way. There's some underground lists. I think I'm still on them, just seeing people like create their own thing. And New York's a hard place to navigate that. Like, so you create like, yeah, it's just a family reunion or whatever.
Yeah, totally. No,
Come on over. That's so cool. I love that. And that's more genuine in DIY. And I think that's where you hear your music, you hear that genuity and that quality in it too, because it's truly you.
Yeah.
So I think I love that.
Thank you.
Well, finally, too, your debut album, Scream from New York is out. Now, I'm just curious how you feel, because that's a lot of practicing, a lot of years, a lot of history happened in the time that you're creating this album. So just like, how do you feel now that it's out?
Yeah, it's a bit surreal because we've been playing together for like 7 years, and like kind of all writing, the 5 of us, for like about 3-4 years. So it's it is kind of absurd how long it's taken, it feels, but I think it's definitely the right thing and the right time. I think if we had done it any time before, it wouldn't have been what we wanted it to be. I feel weird that we've been in this band for so long and it's just coming out, but it's I think it's a really like true representation of like the five of us in like a basement, and I don't know, it was it feels like it's something I'm just like really proud of, that like I know that we all were like very genuine in making, and like I feel like you can hear the stress and kind of like where all of our influences, and I think it's like the first thing that we've put out that I think the five of us are like, we can point to and be like, this is like truly us, like in that moment.
I love that. That's like the perfect explanation. I know you made a documentary too about the process. This is not what words are for. No,
They don't make words for this.
They don't make words for this. Okay. It's beautiful. And there's one part in the beginning that I really liked. You have a friend, Ben Goldstein, who has like this law about music. A good song is when you are looking out in the crowd at a festival and buddies are like putting their arms around each other. So do you feel like you've seen that now that you've been on tour for a while?
I actually was I telling you? The other night, I looked out and I saw people with arms around each other.
Yeah, they were bros.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
You did it.
I can't remember which song we were playing.
I think it was actually...
It was the walk-on music. No,
yeah, no, I think it was Manhattan Youth, which is from our EP, but that one's like... Yeah. I think we keep that one in the rotation because it is that song, right, that we have. We have, I guess, I don't know. Sometimes it's different, but... Yeah,
I feel like kids can get that reaction sometimes.
And then I Have the Answer.
Can get that. But yeah, no, it's... Yeah, he's a great friend of ours, and
very wise.
Thank you for the kind words about the documentary.
Oh, it's beautiful. I feel like it's just great to have that too and be a part of the process. Feel like invited into the conversation of what you're doing and how important it was to you all. So
thank you.
Now you mentioned I Have the Answer. That's a song that we're playing here on The Current. There is, and you alluded to this, Nico. There's some real like stress and raw energy to that song. I'm just wondering where it channels from.
Well. That song started with Skylar, and he came up with the guitar part and that main lyric, I Have the Answer, just for a little while. And he showed it to us. He had like the main chords, and pretty much instantly the song kind of like the basic structure happened. And then we knew instantly it was the closer. And then we kind of put it down because we had it in a way that just, we felt it was like a great song and it was going to be amazing, but we just kind of decided to put it down for a bit.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as we finished, it was one of those that definitely kind of, since Sky had already had the two main parts down, we kind of like locked it in. We're like, this is going to be in the album. Let's move on to other stuff. And then, but I think we were actually just listening to the original demo and it's like a lot slower and it's kind of just wall of sound noise the entire time instead of kind of like subdued verses. So I think it's if anything needs to be like more like stressful. Like it was just kind of like this huge like build up of tension and then it gets to the outro. But now it's more of like more ballady, I would say.
Yeah. But I know that as far as the stress in the song, I know Sky, when he talks about writing it and coming up with that, I mean, we all, like everybody, go through like tough periods, and I think this album, the way I look at it, is it is like a fingerprint of that year of our lives, and that song, musically speaking, Sky was just feeling a lot, and I mean this reality we have for us is like. We're getting somewhere, and our band is like, but we're still like a blip on the map, and a fraction of the band I imagine us as one day. And the reality of that is pretty interesting because we all have to pay our rents and stuff, and so we're working full-time jobs, but you're also working the full-time job of being in a band, and it really is nonstop, and it leads to some pretty intense moments, and so that explains the musical stress you might be feeling, but lyrically, I love it when Sky has a line because then I'm tasked with like filling in the rest of the blanks, and it kind of like creates this really complicated but really beautiful thing because it's like two minds are kind of going at it, and yeah, so then I wrote the rest of the lyrics about just like a moment where I guess I felt like I had the answer. And it was just like a really mundane moment. It was like being at the Natural History Museum in New York. And anyway, and then everything kind of just like fell in from there.
So you're looking at the whale and you were like,
Yeah,
I have the answer.
I was with my ex-girlfriend and I was just like, do you think that's real? Because we couldn't tell if it was like a big stuffed whale or something like that. Or like taxidermied kind of thing. She was like, I don't know. And then we went and we looked at maybe I'm saying too much.
I've done the same thing. I still don't know. So
Yeah, it's not real.
Okay, good.
It's a model.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I love that you acknowledge too, though, something that not a lot of artists acknowledge. It is a hustle. Like it's not. I mean, you're working and you're trying to do this, and they're both jobs, and it's real, and it is. I've always said it's a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think my dad probably said this, but yeah, like you have to be doing the hard work because then if the luck does end up coming and you're not ready for it and you haven't put in the time, then what's the point?
Yeah, that's the separator. But I see you guys really on an upward trajectory. We really believe in what you're doing, and we're so excited you're here at The Current. So thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Before I let you both go, is there anything else you would like our listeners to know? And it's a big open-ended question.
My stomach just growled.
I'm sorry.
No.
That's totally fine.
Wait. There's gotta
Nico,
be
you got something?
Oh yeah, I guess like hope you enjoy the album, and we're working on new stuff. And we're doing a lot of shows coming up in the next year. Oh yeah.
I don't know if we hit Minneapolis, but we hit Chicago and Detroit.
Yeah.
That's not announced yet.
They'll be announced soon.
Yes.
You'll be in the Midwest.
We'll be in the
sometime soon.
Midwest.
Yeah,
So
totally.
if you're willing to take the drive out, but yeah, no, I guess that's about it.
And yeah.
Ben Steller, thanks for being here with us on The Current. Again, Sam, Nico, thank you.
Thank you.
Scream from New York, New York is out now.
Thank you. Nice
Thanks.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
The Current is public media made possible thanks to member support.